Can you imagine being Jules working for BKFC and having to solve the curious case of Christine Misfit Ferea? You know, finding a opponent for her must be a full-time job in itself. Look at her. She's right over here behind me. Bam, Misfit. Now, on top of trying to build women's divisions and find great competition for all the women in the division, she also needs to find competition for her champion. And her champion has basically ran through everyone. Her toughest fight to date is Britain Hart, who currently sits in the 115-pound division, reigns supreme over 115. So you're not going to keep running back Britain versus Misfit forever. So they've done that twice. Britain gave her a very good fight for the inaugural 125 title, but that ship has sailed, and now Misfit finds herself opponentless after fighting Beck Rollins twice. So what do you do with her? Like, man, what a tough task for Jules. You had a new signing, Katarina Liner, who is, she is a 5'6", 135-pounder, 8-5 MMA record with a knockout, only one knockout. So she doesn't have a lot of knockouts in her 8 wins, but she's a banger. She's a gypsy boxer, and she's ready to throw down. When we talked to her in Denver, she said that she had signed with the company multi-fight deal, and she would like to fight Crystal Pittman in her first fight, and then she called out Jessica Rose Clark. Now, Jessica Rose Clark could be an option. She was out there. I think she's staying busy with like Muay Thai, kickboxing fights and stuff. But Jessica Rose Clark is another one. 5'5", 135-pounder. She could fight at 125. 11-9 MMA record, 3 knockouts. So Jessica Rose Clark, she also is a very marketable girl. Very got a really nice look to her. She's all tattooed up. So Misfit and her would match up well. Maybe you go that route. Maybe you try to pull in like an old MMA vet that's been retired for a minute, but it was always down the scrap. Jessica I, who was like 15-11 in her MMA career, 15-11. But you know what? In her 11 losses, she fought like Juliana Pena, Misha Tate, Valentina Shevchenko. Jessica I would be up for the challenge, I would guess, if the price is right. And of course, Misfit called out Christine Ferea. Not Christine Ferea. She called out Cyborg. Misfit called out Cyborg, and Cyborg on Instagram said, I'm in. She has since deleted that Instagram post, but screenshots are forever, and we have them. People have that screenshot where she said, I'm in. I was called out by bare knuckle fighting champion Christine Misfit Ferea. I'm in. She put that. So I think like a certain amount of money would be able to put that fight together. And then you want to talk about a legacy fight for Misfit. I mean, you're fighting the GOAT. You're fighting maybe the best to ever do it in combat, women's combat sports as far as outside of boxing goes. So a Cyborg versus Misfit fight is a tough task for Jules to pull off, but maybe they pull that off. They got that California card. Maybe they get a Misfit Cyborg battle at the top of the Knucklemania 4 bill. Or she could just keep fighting people in her division. But the thing is, like, people are always like pushed back. Man, these girls don't have enough fights. Nobody does. Nobody has enough fights. Like literally, like Jade Masan Wong is 3 fights into her career. If she beats Gabrielle Roman, she'll be 3-1. She'll have 4 fights total. Christine Vicens is 2-0. She is ready to fight right now. She was supposed to fight Sydney Smith in Miami, in Hollywood, Florida, and that fight got scrapped for Sydney got sick, but if Misfit is not going to be on that April Knucklemania 4 card, and Christine Vicens wants to step into the ring, give her the shot. What's the like? Chances are Misfit wins, but what that does is add another win to her record, pad her legacy even more. She gets another dub in her division, or you have a Cinderella story for Christine, the other Christine Vicens. What are you gonna give Gabrielle Roman a shot? Maybe you do. Gabrielle Roman, she beats Jade. She moves to 2-0-1, but she's fought beasts in her 3 fights. Courtney Cameron at 145 pounds, Martina Kroll at 125 pounds. Martina Kroll was the boogie woman. Nobody wanted to fight her. She went in there and TKO'd her in the first round. Now she gets a win against Jade. Maybe you do that. It's very tough to try to decide, because you have to convince Misfit to want to fight one of these up and comers when she's asking for big fights and big paychecks. But she's also trying to keep herself relevant in social media. She's hitting up podcasts. She called out Sean Strickland. That was cool. She said that she's got more technique than he'll ever have. She called his fights boring. And supposedly she's meeting with him at the UFC PI to scrap with him on Friday. So that would be pretty badass. I mean, I don't know what that does. I don't know really what that does for either one of them, other than put more eyes on them, which is great. But Christine's vocal, and she's out there. She's calling people out for the thing. She called out Sean for the things that he was saying, called him boring, and now she's going to scrap with him. Christine could also go up to 135 and fight the Rugged Beauty, Crystal Pittman, who was supposed to fight a couple months back. I don't know if they want to do that. Jessica Borga is 145 pounds. She's only 1-0 in the BKFC, but she wants to fight. So maybe Borga is somebody. It's a very tough task for Jules running those women's divisions and trying to find opponents for her. But also, I would like to see the BKFC market Misfit a little more. She's got the look, she's got the record, she's got the knockouts, she's got the world titles. She is a advocate for the LGBTQ community. She's on magazine covers for the LGBTQ community. So she's somebody that's marketable to a lot of different demographics. So maybe put a little more money into marketing her. I don't think she'll ever get an Amanda Serrano fight. I know she called for that one, but Amanda Serrano is headlining boxing matches nowadays with Most Valuable Promotions and Jake Paul and them. So that's not it. But if it was me, I would go full bore at Cyborg. And if Cyborg doesn't come to fruition, and you can't pull in some outside name like Jessica Rose Clark or Jessica I, maybe Katarina Liner is the way to go. Give her one fight in the BKFC, and if she wins it, let her take a shot at Misfit, or keep an eye on that Jade Masan Wong Gabrielle Roman fight. I don't envy Jules, man. She's got a tough job. It's tough when your champion is so damn good, right? It's tough when the level of competition is just so far behind her that it makes it damn near impossible to match her up. So in that case, I guess you just keep lining them up. Doesn't matter what their records are, just line them up and let her knock them down. And maybe you get that Cinderella story where one of these girls steps up to the plate, clearly step into the best that ever do it and maybe pull off a miracle or something like that. But Jules is tough. Pay attention to that sparring match between Misfit and Strickland this weekend. That ought to be fun. Who do you guys think would do better in a scrap with Sean Strickland? Misfit Ferea or Bryce Hall? Because he's also calling out Strickland. They might both be there scrapping with Strickland on Friday. So pay attention to that. And I cannot wait to see what they do with her. It may be the hardest job in the organization right now. What do you do with Misfit?